Hey everybody, this is Jim Mosier. Listen, I just got through recording episode 7 of Mosier Talks. This is the podcast you're listening to now. And I was talking about responsive websites, but then I got an idea for talking about how to measure the effectiveness of your marketing. And I'm kind of fired up about it. So we're just going to go ahead and record episode 8 at the same time. Here it is. So you market your business, right? Everybody does. Everybody markets, whether it's online, offline, you market your business. Let's talk specifically today about your online marketing. And more specifically, I want to talk about how to measure whether or not it's working. See, I see a lot of people that go out there and they're going to go to Facebook and they're going to boost a post and they're going to say, oh, look, I reached 500 people. You know, that's good and fine. But out of those 500 people, how many people bought something? And I know these social media people are going to be sitting there saying, no, it's not about that. It's about building your engagement, building your tribe and your community. You know what? I'm just going to come right out and say it right here in the podcast. Forget all that stuff. We want to focus on results and real results. A result isn't a like. A result isn't somebody, commenting on your post or anything like that. A result is somebody choosing to do business with you over your competitor or choosing to purchase the product that you're trying to sell, or taking the action you want them to take, registering for an event, making a donation to your charity. Those are the results that you really need to be measuring. And so I'm going to start out today's podcast by talking about setting the right goals. All right. So a goal of a campaign, as I said a second ago, shouldn't be organic reach. It shouldn't be the number of eyeballs that see it. It shouldn't be any of those metrics. You need to measure the metrics that matter. You need to measure how many people took the action that I want them to take, ultimately want them to take. So if you're, for instance, advertising in Google AdWords, and we manage a lot of AdWords, cost per click is where a lot of people get hung up in that. You're paying, say, $5, $10, $15 every time somebody clicks on your website, and you're focused on that number. That might be the wrong metric for you to be focused on, because overall, you need to be focused on, if I spend $5 a click and 5 people click my link, but nobody signs up, I wasted 25 bucks, right? But here's another acquisition metric that we like to use, is the cost for acquiring a customer. Cost of customer acquisition, if you will, right? So let's go back to that same analogy. If you go out and you advertise on Google AdWords, you spend $5 a click, 5 people click that, but 2 of those 5 become a customer. Out of that $25, you know what your customer acquisition cost is? $12.50. Why? Because you spent $25 total, 2 people clicked the link, 2 people signed up, and so therefore you divide $25 times 2, you get $12.50. That was your cost to acquire those leads or customers or what have you. Those are the kind of metrics you need to be looking at, because it doesn't really matter if you paid $5 a click. It really honestly doesn't matter if you paid $12.50 a click. If everybody that clicks that link signs up, your cost per acquisition is the same. Does that make sense? So it's really about focusing on the numbers that matter. The next point I want to make is about attribution. What I mean by attribution is you need to know where that traffic is coming from. For instance, in a Google AdWords campaign, you automatically, if your AdWords manager is worth their salt, they have configured things in a way that you can actually tell right down to the keyword somebody typed in to get to you to what ad they clicked. You can actually go in and see how well your pay-per-click advertising is working. And that's probably because Google AdWords and Google Analytics both have one thing in common, and it's a glaringly obvious association with the name Google, right? So As far as attribution goes, how do you get into attribution from other places? For instance, one of the tricks that we like to do with, say, Google My Business. Google My Business is a system is a service that offered by Google where you can go out, have a postcard sent to your business, and you can claim your spot on the map, and then you start showing up in local searches related to your whatever it is that your business does, right? But how do you know the difference between an organic visitor, somebody that just saw your listing on Google when they were searching for something obscure, or somebody that actually searched and found you in a map and clicked to your website from there? I'm going to give you a second to think about that one. No, I'm not. You most of the time you don't, because Google counts that as organic traffic when Google comes over and does that. What most people don't know is there are ways to actually identify that traffic so that you can see whether or not if you pay a company like us, for instance, to optimize your Google My Business, whether or not that money paid for itself, because you can actually tell Google to load a specific version of your website, or should I say not necessarily a specific version of website, but you can actually have Google My Business pass tags along that you can then look through analytics and you can associate with a Google My Business listing versus a regular organic listing, even though otherwise without those tags you wouldn't be able to see it. Another thing that you should be able to do is the same thing on social media. Let's say you boost, you have a blog post and you talk about something, but at the bottom of the blog post you have a great call to action. Let's just say that you're talking about a good customer success story, and you have a service that you offer that everybody wants to buy, they just don't know it yet. So you go out there and you talk about how great you did for this customer, and at the bottom of that blog post there's a hey, sign up now. So you go to Facebook and you boost that post. You post a link to that and then you boost the post so that more people see it and click on it, and oh yay, great, you got 50 clicks or whatever. How do you really know that it came from that boosted post? You don't. You don't know if the visitors, the traffic that came from Facebook. I mean, you can see it came from Facebook, obviously, but unless you tag that post correctly, you're not going to know that it came from this particular post, or if you have different variations of a post. I mean, it's not uncommon, especially on Facebook, for us to run 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 different variations of an advertisement just so that we can actually see what actually works better. It's called split testing, and it's something that something that you probably get into once you actually really get serious about conversions. But like I said, the important part about it is that you measure where that money is going, and you measure how effective it is. So talking about all this brings me to one other thing, and I know that I'm not supposed to advertise on my podcast, but you know what? It's my podcast, so I'm going to do what I want to do. I got to tell you, if you're not currently measuring where your marketing dollars are being spent, especially your digital marketing dollars, call me. Let's at least sit down and I will try and work with you to work out a strategy. And I don't charge a whole lot to do this. I mean, it's not like you have to sign up for a $2,000 a month marketing plan in order for me to sit down and help you map out a strategy to better keep track of where your money is. Because the thing is, I believe in digital advertising and I believe that it'll work. I just believe that you have to measure it so you know what works and doesn't work. Okay, you don't want to be out there spending money, good money after bad, because you don't know what's working and what's not. I mean, it's kind of like the idea of the fire hose and all of that kind of stuff. You just got so much going on that you just keep pumping that fire hose and blowing that money, when you could actually take that fire hose and put a nozzle on it and have a really concentrated stream and spend money only on the parts that are actually making you money. I believe that that's achievable for every company out there, regardless of how big or how small you are. I think it's one of the most absolutely essential parts of marketing your business online. And it's got to be the most essential part of measurement, because that's the only way you know. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go about your day. Thanks for watching. This was episode 8 of Mosier Talks. Our podcast is coming back bigger and better than ever in 2018, so stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Right? But here's another acquisition metric that we like to use, is the cost for acquiring a customer. Cost of Guys, go. This has been episode 8, MosierData Talks, or MosierData Talks. Ugh. It's Mosier Talks. I give up. All right.